What happens when nature's fury meets political maneuvering? This is a question that often springs to mind when witnessing the aftermath of natural disasters. The intersection of politics and disaster response is a complex and multifaceted issue, where the stakes are high and the consequences far-reaching. When disaster strikes, the immediate response is crucial. It's a test of leadership, a test of compassion, and a test of efficiency. But it's also a moment shrouded in politics. The actions or inactions of those in power can shape the narrative of the disaster. It can influence public opinion, sway votes, and even define a political career. The political response to a disaster can take many forms. It can manifest as rapid mobilization of resources or perhaps as a slower, more calculated approach. It could be characterized by unity and collaboration or by discord and blame shifting. Different governments, different leaders will react in different ways. Some may rise to the occasion, demonstrating effective leadership and empathy. Others may falter, their actions criticized as inadequate or misguided. But the political implications of disaster response don't stop when the immediate crisis is over. The aftermath of a disaster can influence policy decisions and political agendas for years to come. It can expose flaws in existing systems, prompting reform and change. It can also be exploited for political gain, used to justify certain actions, or to deflect attention from other issues. The fallout from a disaster is not just physical, but political. It's a ripple effect that can alter the political landscape, shaping the course of a city, a nation, even the world. But how exactly does this play out? What are the different political responses to natural disasters, and how do these responses shape our world? These are the questions we'll be exploring in this series. As we delve deeper, we'll examine the political responses to natural disasters in a chronological order, from immediate actions to long-term policies. In the immediate aftermath of a disaster, the political response is crucial. In those first chaotic moments when the dust is still swirling, the ground still shaking, the fires still burning, the political machinery springs into action. This is a time of emergency management, of relief efforts, of public communication. It's a time when leaders must step forward to guide their communities through the turmoil and towards healing. The immediate response is a flurry of activity. Emergency services are mobilized, aid organizations are called in, and resources are allocated to the hardest-hit areas. The logistics of this response are complex, requiring coordination and cooperation across multiple levels of government. From local agencies to federal departments, everyone has a role to play. Politicians, too, have a significant role in these efforts. They're not just figureheads, they're decision-makers, influencers, communicators. They're the ones who must make tough calls in the midst of crisis, who must balance the need for swift action with the constraints of budgets and bureaucracy. They're the ones who must stand before the cameras and microphones, who must reassure their citizens that help is on the way, that they are not alone in their suffering. But their actions, their words, their demeanor, all of these can shape public opinion. If they appear calm and in control, if they show empathy and resolve, if they take decisive action and communicate clearly, they can inspire confidence in their leadership. They can rally their communities around a common cause, fostering unity and resilience in the face of adversity. But if they falter, if they seem indecisive or disconnected, if they fail to communicate effectively, they risk losing the trust of their constituents. They risk exacerbating the crisis, deepening the despair, and prolonging the recovery. In short, the immediate response to a disaster is a litmus test for political leadership. It's a test of competence, of character, of compassion. It's a test that can define a leader's legacy, that can shape the course of their career and the fate of their community. The immediate response can set the tone for the rest of the recovery period, but it's just the beginning. As the dust settles, the focus shifts from immediate relief to recovery and rebuilding. This transition is a crucial phase in the aftermath of a natural disaster. It's during these moments that we see the political response evolve, taking on a new shape that will define the future of the affected communities. In the immediate aftermath of a disaster, the government's role is to provide aid and ensure the safety of its citizens. However, when we move into the recovery phase, the responsibilities become more complex. The government must now coordinate rebuilding efforts, allocate resources effectively, and manage public expectations. It's a delicate balancing act, and the political stakes are high. During this period, the government's primary role is to orchestrate the recovery process. This involves everything from clearing debris and restoring infrastructure to helping businesses get back on their feet. It's a monumental task, and it requires a level of organization and efficiency that can test even the most capable administrations. The allocation of resources is another critical aspect of recovery. Decisions must be made regarding where to invest funds and manpower. These choices can be controversial, as they involve prioritizing certain areas or projects over others. It's a delicate dance, navigating the needs of the community and the available resources, all under the watchful eye of the public and media scrutiny. Managing public expectations during this time is also a key part of the political response. The process of rebuilding after a disaster can be slow and fraught with challenges. It's essential for the government to communicate effectively, tempering optimism with realism, and ensuring that the public understands the complexities and timeline of the recovery process. As the weeks turn into months, and even years, the political response continues to evolve. The decisions made during this time can leave a lasting impact, shaping the future of the affected areas and the political landscape itself. Rebuilding is a long process, and the political response during this period can have far-reaching consequences. It's a test of leadership, a demonstration of resilience, and a testament to the power of community. And at the end of the day, it's about more than just recovery. It's about renewal and the promise of a better tomorrow. Long after the disaster has faded from the headlines, its political impact continues to be felt. Natural disasters are more than just immediate tragedies. They are catalysts for long-term political change. When a natural disaster strikes, the devastation it leaves behind can expose the weaknesses in a society's infrastructure, prompting a call to action for better planning and preparedness. For instance, let's consider the case of a catastrophic earthquake that lays bare the inadequacies of a city's building codes. In the aftermath, there is often a push for more stringent regulations to prevent such devastation in the future. This can lead to a sweeping overhaul of construction codes and zoning laws, impacting the city's development for decades to come. Similarly, a severe hurricane can bring into sharp focus the deficiencies in a region's emergency preparedness. It can reveal gaps in evacuation plans, disaster relief efforts, and communication systems. This can spur the government to invest in improving these areas, altering the political landscape and shaping public policy for years down the line. But it's not just about the immediate region affected by the disaster. These events can also influence national and even global policies. Take climate change, for instance. Major disasters such as wildfires and floods have increasingly been linked to global warming. These events serve as stark reminders of the dire consequences of climate change, prompting governments around the world to reassess their environmental policies. They can lead to more aggressive targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions, stricter regulations on industries, and increased investment in renewable energy sources. Disasters, therefore, can serve as pivotal moments in a nation's political history. They can act as a wake-up call, forcing us to confront the reality of our vulnerabilities and urging us to take proactive steps to mitigate future risks. So, while the immediate aftermath of a disaster is undoubtedly tragic, it's important to remember that these events can also be catalysts for change. They can spur us on to create safer, more resilient communities and push us to take stronger action on global issues like climate change. The political responses to natural disasters can shape our world in profound and lasting ways. From the immediate aftermath to long-term policies, political responses to natural disasters are complex and consequential. We have journeyed through the intricate labyrinth of politics and natural disasters, exploring the various stages and impacts of political responses. At the heart of our exploration is the understanding that the intersection of politics and tragedy is far from straightforward. It's a nexus fraught with tension, where decision-making is as much about managing the present as it is about shaping the future. In the heat of the moment, as we've seen, political responses can set the tone for the overall disaster management process. How leaders react, the decisions they make, and the messages they convey can either inspire confidence or breed panic. It's a delicate balance, a dance between the need for immediate action and the desire for long-term solutions. We dove into the transition from relief to recovery, underscoring that the political response doesn't end when the immediate danger has passed. Indeed, the choices made during the recovery phase can have lasting impacts. From rebuilding infrastructure to addressing social inequities exposed by the disaster, the recovery phase is where the seeds of long-term change are often sown. And then we looked at the political legacy of disasters. It's clear that the political fallout from natural disasters can reverberate for years, even decades. Policies born out of crises can shape the political landscape, influencing everything from election outcomes to the direction of national development. As we've seen throughout this exploration, political responses to natural disasters are not just about dealing with the crisis at hand. They are about vision, leadership, and the ability to navigate the present while keeping an eye on the future. As we face an uncertain future, understanding these dynamics is more important than ever. Thanks for watching, and we urge you to stay prepared and informed.